So now we have learned about the different types of display things which we are using. So those all things works in all the browsers. Most of the time what you need to do is, so you need to use those properties only, and you need to use maximum use these those properties which you have discussed up to now: display properties, float level properties, positioning properties. These are all the properties we need to use, and we need to align the data. So maximum we need to use those things only with 100% those things. So it will work in all the browsers without any problem. So afterwards, while going ahead, we discussed, right, in the 2012 or 2014, I didn't remember exactly the thing. So after 2010 only, 2013, 2014, something like that. So new concept has been introduced, that is Flexbox, for aligning the layout. So for designing the layout. So these things are, so recent days we have got it. So why? Because we are using some modern browsers. So because of the reason, most of the times 80% of the things supports the Flexbox, whereas the grid, it will not support all the way because it has released in 2019, recently only. So let's try to learn about the Flexbox. So Flexbox is, what can you do with a flex layout actually? So the flex layout, using the flex layout, what we can do is, so we can display the elements as a row and a column. Okay, so row or a column. Okay, row or a column, not a row and a column, row or a column. So either we can work with a row or a column only. And these are single line by default. Okay, single line by default. So we can also be visually reorder the elements in the DOM also. So we can reorder the elements in the DOM. And space can also be distributed between the elements. So space, so we have seen that using the float element and all those things we have distributed, right? But using this one, we can redistribute the space between the items. So here we call it as an items actually. So like this, so the items themselves can be aligned in the cross axis, main axis, these all things we'll be having. So first we need to understand the basic concept, those who people know about this one. Let's say that so here we are having elements like this, the flex elements, the elements will be having it like this, and this one is called as a main axis. Okay, this one is called as a main axis, and this one is called as a cross axis. Whenever I try to tell a main axis and a cross axis, so try to remember these things. So cross axis, and this one is called as a main axis. So this main axis will be set with the property called as a flex direction. Okay, we'll discuss about this one. Flex direction defines this one. Okay, so now let's try to create an element, and we'll try to see it. So just I will try to tell you basic, not basic, I will tell you overlay how that flex and all those things will behave. Let's say that, so first one we are having a container or parent, anything, so you can take it. So normally we will call it as a container, flex container, and all those things, the terminologies. So we are having some elements. Let's say I'm having one div element. So item 1, item 1, item 2, item 3, like this we are having. Let's assume. So here I am going to a container. If I try to see the output for this one, so item 1, item 2, and item 3 we are able to see it. So let's go to the container. So those are coming one by one down. Why? Because those are block level elements. So we'll go to the container, and here in this container I will try to maintain a background color of light gray. Okay, now if I try to see the output, so this is the light gray. I will try to give a width of 400 pixel. Okay, 400 pixels. So that means it will come something around like this one. This is a parent, this is a flex container, and these are flex boxes, flex items. Item 1, item 2, item 3 are called as a flex items, and this is a flex container. Flex container is having light gray color, assume. And here I am having dot container greater than div, or otherwise you'll keep it as a child. Class is equal to child. That you can have, what is it I'm doing? Yeah, class is equal to child. So here I will try to keep this one child and this one child. That's it. So let's try to see the output. So now we are having these three items as a child. Now what I will try to do here, dot child, I will give the background color light blue or anything I'll try to give it. So now These are the 3 items. So now these are display inline block, sorry, display block. These are taking the entire row. Now I will try to change the container elements, the items, the flex items to behave in an inline level element. So we have already seen it, right, in the display blocks element. So now I am telling that whatever the child elements you are having, behave as a display flex, we are saying. Now if you try to see the output immediately, okay, or otherwise I will try to give the height for this one also, height of 100 pixels. Now let's give the border also for the items, border of 1 pixel solid black. Now whatever the items we are having here, so the items we got it as one by one, side by side. So here if you try to observe here, okay, the parent container, the flex container is having a width of around 400 pixel we are having. By default, the flex items, how much content it is having, that much width only it will take it. Okay, that much width only it will take it. For example, let's say that item 1, 2, and here we are having some extra data, means so the automatically this item will expand it. Okay, so like this, how much content it is having, that much content only it will take it. So that is a one concept you need to understand it. Default, if you mention it as a display flex, means how much data it is having, the flex items, that much space only it will take it by default. So that is, if the container is having 800 pixels, means it will not share between all the elements to cover up all the container. So it will not take those like that. So it will have the equal spaces, sorry, not equal spaces. It will take how much content it is having, that much content, that much width only it will take it. So this is one content. This is one concept. Now another concept is, for example, let's say that I am having 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I am having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Six items are there. 6 flex items are there. If I try to place it, so it is trying to maximum rearrange that one to match it in the, to fit in a container. If I try to make it another 3 items, 1, 2, 3. Now if I try to place it here, so now here these are maximum aligning themselves to fit in the flex container in this parent. Why? Because this parent is having 800 pixel and this one is maximum, it is trying to fit all the items in the 800 pixel. Now now I will try to place some more items again. So now what will happen? It will overflow. Okay, it will overflow here. Still it is trying to fit it. For example, let's try to add some more items. So how much they can fit it, they will try to fit it. So now what has happened here? So this much up to that much only they can fit it, and afterwards this parent is having 800 pixel only, but this one has been overflowed. The items which are having more item, if more items are there in a flex container, maximum it will try to shrink it. Okay, it will try to shrink it. That is called as a flex shrink. Okay, flex shrink by default we will be having it as a 1. We'll try to discuss that on all. It will maximum, it will try to shrink it. Okay, so now the width of this one is auto. Actually the width of these all the flex items will be an auto. So that is nothing but a flex basis. We'll try to discuss that one also. It will be an auto. By default it will be an auto. All the CSS value will have a default values, right? Like that. So now it will maximum try to fit in all the things in the container, but it has overflow out of the container. So because of the reason it has overflown. I don't want this behavior. So I want to fit in this container only. So then what I can do is I can tell to the container that please wrap it. Okay, wrap the items, whatever the items you are having, wrap those items. When I immediately use this wrap items, now you can see these all wrapped it here. Okay, so these all came wrapped automatically inside this one. So this is called as a flex wrap. So by default the flex property items which you are having in the container, if it is more than the width of the container, means it will overflow it. Okay, it will directly overflow the items. If you want to wrap those items, means we need to use the flex wrap. So that is one thing. So that is one thing you need to understand it. So now another thing what I want to tell you is, so here let's try to remove these all the things. Let's go to the last one. So we are having only 4 items, so 3 items only. Let's try to maintain it 3 items, or otherwise 4 items. Okay, let's try to have 4 items. So we are having 400 pixel. So now let's try to remove the flex wrap. We understood about the flex wrap also. So now we are having this is the default behavior. How much content is there, that much content is trying to occupy it. That's fine. Now what I want to do is, by default the flex is a row wise. So it will commit as a row wise. I want to make it one by one down. I don't want it this one to be one by one, side by side. I want to make it as one by one down. So if you want to make it as one by one down, means what you need to do is we need to give a flex direction. These are all I am giving in the container. You need to understand it. So flex direction column. By default, the flex direction is row if you don't mention. So here it will be in the column. If you try to see here, all the flex items are in the column. Okay, so this is one of the directions. So if you want to maintain this one direction, now this time the main axis will become vertical here in the paint, right? So now the main axis, this is the main axis. So when you mention this one flex direction as column, and this is a cross axis. So when you mention it as a what I can say, flex direction column. So this is one option. So we understood about the flex. So we are having so many things. So not so many things. We have a row reverse. Row reverse means so 3 will come this side and that side will come. So 4, 3, 2, 1. So 1 is mentioned at the time, the first, right? So like this it will come. So row reverse, row column reverse, like that you can mention it. So most of the time we should not use this row reverse and column reverse. Why? Because this will create an accessibility issue. The accessibility issue. Why? Because the algorithms, browsers and all those things cannot able to read it. Why? Because here logically not coding wise you are giving 1 as the first item, but in the visual representation you are trying to display the 1 as the last item. This should not be the behavior. If you want to place it, means directly you can place it if it is possible here. So that is the thing. So that is a different thing. So now we understood about the direction also, and also we understood about the wrapping also. Flex wrap also we have seen it. So we have another option that is nothing but flex flow. Okay, so flex flow. So this is a shorthand notation for the flex direction and also a flex wrap. So here you can mention the flex direction should be row and it should wrap it. So now I can make use of this shorthand notation and I can use it. So this is the thing. So the same thing it will happen. So wrap it will work. So that is the flex wrap. Now another thing what I want to explain you is the flex grow, flex shrink and the flex basis. So these are the one of the important thing, not important things. Suggest you need to understand it. I will tell you orally. For example, let's say that we are having width of 400 pixel. Okay. So now for each child item, I am giving width of around 100 pixel. Each width I am trying to tell take 100 pixel. So that means 4 items we are having. Width the parent container is having 400 pixel. 100 into 4, 400 pixel it should take. So now it is able to equally accommodate in this parent container. So this one is having 100 pixel, this one is having 100 pixel, and this one is having 100 pixel. This one is having 100 pixel. Fine. So nice. So now we are able to get it. So now we have another option that is nothing but a flex basis. Okay. If I try to mention this one as 50 pixel or otherwise, yeah, 50 pixel. So now I am telling that flex basis to take it as 50 pixel, but I am telling that width to be 100 pixel. So now which one will obey here? So in the flex concept, so the width will be overridden by the flex basis. Now if you try to see here, it is taking only the 50%, 50 pixel of width only. If you don't have the width here, the width, if you have the width here, if you don't have the flex basis, width will be taken as the reference. But if you have the flex basis means, then it will be taken as the width will be overridden. So flex basis. For example, if you have taken min width means, so minimum width it should have 100 pixel means, then what it will try to take is, so minimum width will be applied. Okay, so minimum width will be taken in the preference. So these are all the order of the preference. So while you play, you will be able to understand it. So while telling, so there are so many options will be there which you can use it, the combinations. I cannot use all those things. When I get in mind, I can tell you. So this is one of the thing. Flex basis means, so which will act as a width of the each item. Okay, each child item you will be having. Flex basis by default you will be having auto. Okay, you will be having an auto. Auto means, so automatically how much content you are having, that much content only it will try to fit the content, which we have seen it earlier. The another one what we are having is, which I want to tell you is, now here if I try to refresh this page, so what has happened? Width I have given it or what? Okay, let's try to remove the width. So now if I try to refresh this page, so we are having the 4 items and some of the space is being left out. The parent has been left out, some of the parent. Okay, so now what I want to do is this item 4. So this is the 4th, or otherwise item 3. I want to take this item 3 and I want to tell to this item 3 that this is the remaining space left out in the parent. Something around 200 pixel is left out, or otherwise 100 pixel is left out. Whatever the 100 pixel space is there, you take item 3, you take this remaining space. So we need to tell to that item 3. How we can say is, so here I can say that dot child of nth of type 3, I can say third element. So flex grow. flex grow of 1. So I am telling to the third element that, so whatever the space left out, so take the flex grow of 1. So now if I told that one, whatever the parent container, the space is left out, automatically that has been taken. So this is the one option. By default, the flex grow will be always 0. So for example, if you try to say that, I want to tell that all the flex items, flex grow, all the flex grow items, I want to tell it as all the child items. I am telling it, take the space equally. So that means whatever the space is remaining, it was remaining 100 pixels, something is remaining before, right? 100 pixel space, divide it by 4 and share it between these 4 of the elements we are trying to say when I try to give flex grow. Or otherwise, if I try to give flex of third element as 2, so now divide it by 4 and you give the double part to this one and remaining all you share it with you. So now if I try to see here, item 3 will take the double of this one and remaining space will be shared between the 3 items. So you'll be having it like this. So you can assume it something like 4 elements are there, so divide it by 4 and you take the 2 parts from this one and remaining parts you take it like that. So something like that you will be having. So half of them equal amounts, so you give it double times to this one and remaining that one take yours people, like that you will be giving. So now the next part comes is the flex shrink. Okay, flex shrink. Yeah, tell me. See, flex is the shorthand notation. So here flex is the shorthand notation for the flex grow, flex shrink and the flex basis. You people are using directly flex like that or what? So see, flex grow 1 you are giving means it is a flex grow, and afterwards you need to give flex shrink, and the last one it is a flex basis. Okay, so this is the total behavior you need to give. You are giving only the flex grow here like this. You understood? So flex is the combination. How I have told you, where this one I have told you, right? Flex direction, flex flow. So flex flow is the shorthand notation for the combination of both flex direction and the flex wrap. In the same scenario, flex is the combination of flex grow, flex shrink and the flex basis. So now when you try to give flex grow, flex shrink and the flex basis means instead of giving 3 items, you can give directly flex 1. So you are giving only the grow item only. So you are not giving anything. I will tell you afterwards, Dharmendra. So I will tell you one by one afterwards. So people will get confused or otherwise. So now we'll try to learn about the flex shrink. So you understood about the flex grow. So flex shrink is also one and the same only. So now we are telling that the items we are telling that to take this much of item, right? So this much of space, right? Now we need to tell shrink 1 means, so shrink what I can say is, for example, so we have given for each one flex basis of something like 100 pixel. Okay, so these all grow and all those things. Let's try to remove it. So now each one is taking 100 pixel. Now it one is coming something like that. Now I want to have something like, so this one is having a flex shrink of 0. Okay, so flex shrink of 0, I think flex shrink of 1. Okay, so flex shrink of 1. So for example, if I want to give let's say that flex basis 100 pixel I have given, and the width is having around 600 pixel. So now the space will be left out here. Okay, so maximum what it can do is, so here what it can do is flex basis 100 pixel. So it maximum it will go up to 100 pixel only. If I try to give flex shrink of 0, so that means there is no need for you to shrink it. So there is no need for you to shrink it. So if you don't mention the flex basis, so normally how much content is there, that much only it will take it. So but if you try to give flex shrink of 0, if you try to give it, so this one will be little bit of confusion actually. Flex shrink of 1, I think you need to give flex shrink of 1 or 0. Okay, shrink means, let's try to remove the shrink. So we will be having like this. Shrink will be an opposite to this one. So for me also it will be so much of confusing with this shrink only. All the time we will be using the grow option only. So let's say that we'll try to do with the 600 pixel, 400 pixel, Okay, I am trying to give something around 200 pixel for each item. So now it will try to accommodate in this one only. Item 3, I want this one. Don't take this 100 pixel or 200 pixel. This one it is taking, right? I want to mention this item. Not to take this much of this one. So shrink it to something like flex shrink of 1. If I try to give, oh, not 1. This one will be a little bit of confusing. Yeah, flex shrink of 0 means it will try to expand how much it will be having. So here it is taking something like this one. So if I try to tell flex shrink of 2, yeah, so like this you will be having. So grow and shrink will be different. Grow means we'll be asking to grow. Shrink means we are asking them to shrink. So how much these guys are shrinking. So for example, let's say that shrink means 2 if I given means. So this one is shrinking something around 100 pixel or something like that. These all are shrinking means. Let's say that we are having for how can I say this one? So little bit of confusion we'll be having. Explaining this one, you'll be having little bit of confusion. Do you want to save? No. So let's say that these are the items we are having, flex items we are having. So now we are having a container of around something around 800 pixel we are having. Each one is shrinking around 100 pixel only. Okay. Total it is to have something around 300 pixel. Total it needs to take the space around 300 pixel. But it cannot accumulate in the 300 pixel. That is the reason it has shrunk to 100 pixel, and it is totally taking it as a 200 pixel. 200 pixel space it is coming. So this one is also 200 pixel it is coming. 100 pixel it has been shrink. And here this one is also 200 pixel, 100 pixel it has shrink. Now when you mention this one as flex shrink 2, so you are telling that whatever the shrinking, these all the things are happening, you shrink double. So that means 100 actually it is shrinking into 2 you need to make. So that means this will shrink double. 200 pixel it will shrink it. So that means the width of this one will be only 100 pixel only. So already it has shrink to 200 pixel. So whatever the shrinking it is happening for the remaining items, we are telling to this one to shrink double times whatever the previous people they are shrinking. So here if you try to mention this one, so here flex shrink of 2 means whatever these people are shrinking. Okay. So you shrink double times you are saying. Flex to grow means you take the double. Whatever the people are taking, other people are taking, you take the double. So like this the shrink and the grow will work. So little bit of confusion will be there. Me too also will get sometimes confusion. But shrink means opposite of the flex grow. You can think that shrink is opposite of the flex grow. So we are telling that if I remove this one flex shrink, so equally these are taking. For example, each child item, what I have given, I have given it as a 200 pixel. The parent container, it is having around 400 pixel. Okay, so the child container is having only 200 pixel. If you people able to see the styles, the parent container is having 400 pixel, and each child item is having 200 pixel. So that means 200 into 4, it should be 800 pixel. But the parent container is having only 400 pixel, so it cannot go overflow outside the parent container. So that means each one has shrunk to around something around 100 pixel, let's say. So normally it has to be let's say that this one how much it has shrunk, 100 by 100. So 100 100 100 100, it took 100 by 100 so that it has filled all the container to match it with the 400. So that means each one has shrinked 100 pixel. Basically it should be 200 pixel. It has shrunk to 100 pixel and it is showing only 100 pixel. Now what I am trying to tell to this one flex shrink 2. So I am telling that one. So whatever the 100 pixel it is trying to shrink it, all the elements, you shrink double times. So that means it will shrink. It will be having only. It will shrink up to something around. So it is having only 38.8. If you try to observe, so each one is having around width of 120.4. It is something it is taking, and here this one is taking. So that one is shifted between two all those things. So now this one is having only 38.8. So that means it has shrunk half of the thing. So that is the flex shrink actually. So this is the flex grow, flex shrink, and the flex basis. So now let's go on to the another one. So this one is nothing but what I can say is, so we will be using the flex shorthand notation, right? So shorthand notation is the flex shorthand notation. Flex grow, flex shrink, and also the flex basis. So that is a shorthand notation we can give it. Next one is what is this one? Okay. So reordering the flex items. So now this is all the flex grow, flex shrink, and all those things. So leave it these all things. Let's go on to the another one. So these all things we should not use it actually in the browsers. So most all the browsers will not support it, but I'm telling you. So now Flexbox alignment. Let's try to take about the Flexbox alignment. So Flexbox alignment, let's say that, so we are having this one, right? So let's maintain it as a display flex. Okay, so let's try to maintain as a display flex. Now we have applied in the cross axis. Now we need to check about the alignments. Now we are having this one display flex. If I try to see here, oh, I removed everything or what? Okay, let's try to add those colors and all those things. Yeah, now I will remove this flex basis. These all things are removed. These all things are completed, and we are having a width of height of 100 pixel. Fine. So let's try to add some more items, and I am adding here flex wrap of wrap, so it will wrap in the cross axis. If I try to see here, so we are able to see the items here. So width I will try to make it as 200 pixel only, or otherwise you can maintain this one as flex basis. So take all the things as 100 pixel, so that everything will be 100 pixel, so that we will be able to see this one. And here 200 pixel instead of that one, we'll make it as a 300 pixel. Why? Because it is having border and all those things. So now we are having the like this. Okay, this is the alignment we are having. Now if you try to mention the height, okay, if you try to mention the height is 100 pixel, right? So if you try to mention the height of 300 pixel, now these items will stretch it. Okay, these items stretch automatically, it will stretch to complete the height of this one. So let's try to decrease this height to 200 pixel. Okay, so first one is arranging the content in the main axis. Now item 1 and item 2 here, these two things are there side by side. I want to move these items, one to the these item 2, item 4, these all things I need to move to the right side, and these things should be placed at the here only. So now if I want to make it, so otherwise I want to place these all the items in the center. So for this one, what we can use it, so these are all we are using for the container. So all the items I am making to make it as the all the items. So I can make it as a justify content center. So if I try to make it this one in the container, all the items that are present in the container will move to the center. See, these are all placed at the center. Now if I want to place it at the right side, means flex end, you will be having flex end. So you can play it around these all things, then you will understand it. These are the flex end. Okay, flex end. And if you want to place it flex start, so you'll be having another thing is something like space around, so space between. So you will be having the space between, means all the items which are having your here, you'll be able to have a space between. So this is horizontally justify content. So this is one thing. So space around, these are all the things you'll be having. Another one is cross axis. If you want to align the elements around the cross axis, means so you will be using align content. So align content, you can make it as a center. So all the items, it will be placed in the center. So I am telling about all the items. So to consider, so I am writing in the container, all the items will be placed at the center. If you want to place it at the top, flex start, flex end, flex center, space around, space between, these all the things will work for this align content also. So this is one thing. The shorthand notation for this one is the place content. Okay, so place content. So place content will have the combination of justify content and also the what is this one, align content. So you can give this one place content, justify content, and the align content. So if you want to give place center flex end, means so it should be something like center and the flex end. Okay, you can give it like this. Then it will be how it will behave is, so instead of giving those all the things, center flex end. So justify center means align content is coming center. So this one is align content and this one is justify content. So like this also you can give it. So this is a different thing, so leave it. And another one what I can tell you is the content thing, we have seen it. So for placing the content, now for placing the items, so now we have placed on the container for placing the items. For example, let's say that, so these are all the elements we are having it, right? I want to place this item. Okay, I want to place this item, or otherwise I want to place this item 3 item, what I can say, to the starting of the element, so what I can do, item 3, right? So this one, so I can take something like dot child of nth type. I don't know what is this of type of 1 2 3. So I can use align self. So you will be having align self, auto baseline flex and flex start. If I try to give flex start, so what it will try to do, inside that one it has been stretched, right? So it will come at as the center. So if you want, sorry, at the flex start. So it is actually it has been stretched inside this item 3. Now if I want to place this one as the center, means you can place it as a center. So these are the things you can play around with this one. So center, it will come into the center. So inside this one, the items I want to place it. So this is one thing. For example, align self center is done. So I want to place all the items to be center. So all the items to be center if I want to place. For example, let's say that. So I am placing this 3 item only to the center, right? I want to place all the items to be center. All the items to be center, if I want to make it, means you need to use align-items. So center, if you try to place this one, all the items, it will become center. Okay, all the items in their axis, it will become the center. You don't have the justify items and justify self. These things we will not have in the Flex. Horizontally we cannot use it, but this align at cross axis we can use it. Align self and the align items. So that's it. These are only the properties which are available in the Flex. So now if I want to place it this one this side and this one this side, means what you need to do is for the container you need to use justify content, justify content center. Now what I want to do is I want to place all these elements in the center. In the center means what you need to do, you need to place align. So you will be having a little bit of confusion. So while playing with this one, you can have it. So I can place this one as center. So groupingly I can place this one as center. So like this you can play it. So depending on the scenarios or depending on the requirement, when to use align items, when to use the align content, justify content, so you need to have a clear difference between this one. So that's it. These are all the different types of Flex properties which are available in the Flex. So these are all the things which we will be having. So this is all the different types of layout techniques which we will be using for designing the web page layout. So that's it.